Welcome back to Cheche. We're discussing the latest attempt to ban plastic bags in Kenya. If it does go through, there will be no importation, manufacture and use of carrier bags from about September. Our guests are Jeffrey Wahungu, the Director General of NEMA, the National Environment Management Authority, and Amina Abdallah, nominated MP and Chair of the National Assembly's Committee on Environment and Natural Resources. And the CS wasn't able to be with us today, but she has sent a tweet saying the ban will only be effective if we Kenyans support it to protect ourselves from plastic pollutants. We own the choice. And so it seems that what our public is saying is, yes, we want this ban, we want it to work. But the question a lot of people are asking is waste management. Okay, what do we do? Because even if I think about where I live, the building management gives me plastic bags for my garbage. Alright? So in terms of behavior change, how are we progressing this? And it's a question we've been asking you throughout this show.
Yeah, and from the CSS comment, it's clear. She's talking about behavior change. Kenyans are the ones who hold the destiny.
We have already in the establishment of NEMA, in MCA, the law, and also as our institutional arrangement, we have a very robust department chaired by a director on environmental education, information and public participation. Environmental education, information and public participation.
But like she said, where there are many companies that collect garbage, they come with those plastic bags, they let you put everything in that bag. And that's what we are describing. Somewhere get rotten, get carbon, whatever.
Yeah. Now,
in many countries, you'll find that you are given 3 containers, not plastic. You separate your garbage, paper, bottles, water, and then you give them. They carry and separate when you go to dispose. They dispose separate. Your public education.
We have in Mutegi, I would like to inform the public that in 2013 we already brought this on the World Cleanup Day, Clean Up the World Day in Ngong Town in 2013.
And that dump site is in Ngong.
Yeah, I know. And but the chair said initially about the devolution and our mandate, and that we are not. I will not sit here and take responsibility or take mandate from the county government, but we have a national mandate at our level, and even the issue of educating the public on sorting out garbage is actually our mandate. What I was saying is that in 2013, on the Clean Up the World Day in Ngong, we presented to the public all the options. In some of the institutions and even some resident associations have already picked that up, and it's working very well.
This recycling of garbage.
Yeah.
Separation of. I live in Ngong, we don't separate it. They bring us that plastic, we dump it and put it there.
Communities are different, and our circumstances are different as citizens. First of all, I think there is...
But as a body with a national mandate, can you not model for us what best practice is, so that county governments, even with their county environment boards and institutions, are able to take what you set as a standard for us and implement within their own counties?
We have already done that.
You've already done that.
We are right now. We have already established programs for modeling. Kajiado and Mutegi, I would like to support you. We have a working relationship with the county government of Kajiado, funded by the government of Italy. We want actually to pilot the best waste management pilot for Kajiado, move from a dump site, the open dump sites, to a landfill, and this is funded. Kiambu already has a pilot.
The governor did tell us about that when he was here.
Yeah, when he was here.
Yeah, Kiambu has a pilot. Kisumu already began. It's just procurement issues that came up,
which has gone on for years and years.
I know. Well, not years and years. It's quite since the devolution.
Who knows Kisumu well, so I think it's years and years.
Kisumu stinks like a dump site.
I know. They are only collecting 40%, so it's a big problem. So we are putting that waste management, other than the sorting, establishment of waste management facilities We have piloted that on the waste management strategy. Where are we? Where do we want to go? We have shared that with counties. And as I said before, what we are doing now is an intervention to try and help them get where they want, because they have identified that stream of waste plastics as the deterrent to that. And therefore, even if today, Mutegi, we had a very good model landfill, and we still have the problem of plastic, because we are finding that we have to sort the waste for citizens at the dam site, which is a problem. But also the citizens want to see where their efforts are going to. People are not happy to see that they have already sorted their waste at home, then go and find it all together at the dam site again. So it's a whole process and value chain and addition at every stage. And we are thinking, since plastic at every stage is actually the culprit, why don't we just start with this now and then move forward as a nation?
Can you have a campaign where wananchi are told never take those? Like you said, many people don't. I don't. Is that possibility? You can tell wananchi, don't take those bags.
We've done that a lot.
But people are still taking.
That's why it's banded.
That's why it's banded. I think the question that Mr. Ongui seems to be struggling with is the sensitization, and again that's reflected from in our viewers, because they say the ban will only be effective if I've lost it, but if we change behavior. And so you've gone ahead with the ban, and you have the support of the chair of your environment committee. And I think what the panel seems to be saying is you need some sort of communication or media campaign around that in the countdown to August or September when this ban is effected. Are you able to do that? Do you have the resources?
I'm happy that the chair is listening, because we have always pleaded with the committee to give us resources. You are aware that to create such a campaign...
Should she answer the question? Should we ask her why they're not giving you resources? Why aren't you giving them resources?
I'm actually sure that if NEMA gets more resources and invests it in awareness creation, it would make a big difference. And
so give them the resources then.
We can't give them the resources because the Treasury gives us an envelope that we cannot exceed, and that, for me, I think that one of the challenges that we've had to convince Treasury to give more money to the entire environment sector is the fact that we've not packaged our use of that money in an effective way. And so for me, I'm very excited that this very bold decision by NEMA has shown what they can do, and if given more support in that awareness creation, we'll be able to deal with this problem very effectively.
But it's obvious, much more anybody would see a poorly managed environment has a result on health. That means we'll spend more money on the health sector, we'll spend more money in the construction sector because buildings will come down, transport sector because there'll be jams all over. Can't they just see this?
I think that you're speaking to the converted about justifying why we should fund the environment more, but when you come to being the person who's heading Treasury, you're confronted with dying children and giving money for awareness creation and an awareness campaign that is not, by the way, until this ban is not supported by a strong legislation. So you're talking about spending money to do TV ads on something that didn't have a strong legislation, when you have these other questions of children dying or investing in school. So you have to appreciate that there is that balancing act. But when you have a ban such as what he has in place, then investing in that awareness is going to make sure that you're going to reduce the costs of having those dam sites not going down because every garbage has been closed up. But the one on Mutegi asking why about the being given plastics. Now with the ban, you won't be given the plastic, so you'll find alternatives. Personally, I was thinking that there's some things that you won't have alternatives on, but I went to my green grocery this week, and they have a new bag in place, that like the blue Nakumat one, but a green one. So maybe if they're pushed to the corner, we'll have alternatives coming out of the woodworks.
Two instances. I wonder, although some of them have been, two of them have actually been reversed. When the Michuki rules came into effect, Kenyans supported them overwhelmingly. What made them go back is that the executing authorities relaxed. NEMA, Nairobi River, the late John Michuki decided to have it clean enough to be used for swimming. In 3 months that was done. Today, it's a terrible situation. The public is willing, but the execution is lacking. What would you say?
I want to say that the Nairobi River is already a program itself, just like a small member of the ministry. And therefore, the issue of resources and all that, I don't want to talk about it now. However, the issue about how we go after this, I would like to say that, and I want to restrict myself to the issue of having the right law, an institution having matured and therefore capable of handling issues, because NEMA has been growing. We are about 14 years old, but our mandate is large, and we are dealing with problems which have taken years, and therefore those are very strong points that we have. And then the support of the public, because really, for example, there are so many issues which are even political on Nairobi River. The section which even Honorable Michuki himself was unable to deal with were the slums, because even now, for us to be able to access the river to clean or whatever, you have to move people. You know about the issues, the political issues about moving people, landless people, slum dwellers and all that, to give the riverbank a space for us to work or for us to do that. You know the issue of the sewerage infrastructure of Nairobi from the 1970s, and therefore when we are dealing with these things with the Early Water Services Board and the Nairobi Water, the issue of infrastructure and the cost and the budget goes back again to Treasury and everybody. We are dealing with an issue where NEMA is expected to deal with a mammoth problem which has been developed over many years, and I think what we require would be patience and a lot of resources to be able to overcome that.
We're winding up now, and so very quickly, what are the consequences for any sort of violation of this ban? If you see me with a plastic bag, what happens to me?
Just like any illegal substance, it is illegal, and therefore you'll face the full force of the law. We are going to arrest you.
You'll arrest me if I have my shoes in a plastic bag, if you see me with a plastic bag?
Not now.
Not now.
After the 28th.
About September.
Yeah. We are working with county governments. I want to admit one thing, that NEMA, just like anybody, even now we have so many policemen, but still people make mistakes. It's like everybody needs a policeman. We really expect good work. We don't really expect to go that way, because really nobody can win. We think this is for public good. We are working with the county government. The way county government deals with cleaning and all that, if there's a time that in Nairobi you couldn't chew gum and throw and all that, it will get to that. So Wanjiku and Chieng and all those guys, the county governments will deal with them. We will be dealing with importers, manufacturers, those ones, to clean, to stop the entry.
And so they are subject to fines?
Yeah.
They're subject to legal action.
Yeah.
What about these people who sell plastic bags? You know, you go to the market, you've got too much shopping, and you need something to carry your bags in. These small-scale people.
The same thing. It will be illegal. They will be arrested. We are already working to have the alternatives. We encourage them to sell the alternatives, which are there. I mean, you just go along to the road like to Meru and all that. You buy fruit, you are given in a rattan basket, a reed basket. Those people, if they knew that there is market for that in Nairobi tomorrow, all these guys who are selling polythene will be selling those. You've seen people carrying even stools on the street, a big stool, a heavy thing or trousers, To carry a few recyclable baskets and selling people on the street as you go shopping is not a big deal. We are working with Kenya Bureau of Standards also. We've been reading. We want to work with them so that licenses for manufacturers cease on 28th. Importation ceases on 28th. And therefore, we have all our ends etched.
Is the fine definite? Like she asked, she's walking on the street with her shoes in a polythene bag. Is the fine definite?
The fine is definite.
How much is it? How many? What period in jail?
1 year.
Anyway, let me
Final thoughts.
Let me ask a different question about carbon credits. How much? I have not benefited from it.
You know what? We're winding up. We have to have another conversation on environment where we can, address the topic of carbon credits.
Yeah.
We'll take those as your final comments. Ms. Abdallah, I'd like you to give you the opportunity to share your final thoughts on this with us.
Mine would be to congratulate NEMA and the ministry and to urge the public and the media to support them in this enforcement, and for purposes of them maintaining the tempo, as was said by Charles, the Michuki rules came and the tempo has not been maintained. We all need to work together to be able to get them forward, and that's funding and media support and coverage such as this one of this morning.
And that's all we have time for this morning. We'll have to end our conversation there. Our thanks to our guests. We've had the chair of the National Assembly's Committee on Environment and Natural Resources, nominated MP Amina Abdallah. We've also had the Director General of NEMA, Jeffrey Wahungu. Our thanks also to our panelists, Mutegin Jao and Charles Odhiambo. My name is Udwa Kamimo. Thank you for engaging with us. We shall see you next week.